Welcome to the Property Mindset Podcast. I'm Emma Howitt, mentor, investor, and your guide to building wealth, freedom, and personal transformation through property. Property isn't just about bricks and mortar, it's about building the life you truly desire. In this space, we don't just talk about strategy, we deep dive into mindset, something that I've really found is often missing in like other industries, but has been a game changer in the professional property circles. So today we are looking at the 10 mindset shifts to hit your property goals faster. Okay, so let's turn dreams into actions and actions into success. So the 10 mindset shifts to hit your property goals faster. Now, the 10th one is always the one that we're most surprised about, so don't miss out on that one. So number one is the importance of goals. It is so key. We know that, don't we? We get in the car and we immediately put the postcode in for the sat nav because we need to know where we're going. So it's so important that we don't miss our goals. We don't stagnate in the process. We don't want to take minimum progress goals. So I actually do 3 goals. I have a peak goal, a pathway goal, and plateau goals. And my peak goal, that is the massive goal. That is the big kahuna. That's the big, hairy, audacious goal. It is enormous. I have no idea how I'm going to hit it. But if I can think it and I really believe it, it'll definitely happen. So one of my favorite quotes is, if you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And that's by Napoleon Hill. And that is a huge one. So it's basically saying, if you even think it, you can do it. So I'm all over that like a rash. Absolutely, I can do it. So that's your peak goal. Probably best not to have too many of those. And then you have a pathway goal. So these are like big goals, but it might be, buying 3 properties this year. So they're goals that are challenging. But inherently, as long as you take specific steps along the way, you are going to achieve them. So really big, really push you. And remember, with goals, it's not about just hitting the goals. It's actually about growing, becoming a better person, becoming a new person along the way. And then finally, you have your plateau goals. So these are the goals. These are the milestones. These are the ones that you practically need to keep going with to get to where you want to go. So that's how I break it down. Obviously, you do it how you want to, but it works really, really well. So goals, goals, goals. We've got to have the direction. That is the number one for the 10 mind shifts to hit your property goals faster. Second, daily habits that create momentum. This was massive for me. So my life just used to be totally chaotic. I don't know about you guys, but I've got 3 kids, I've got animals, I've got partners, parents, extended family, friends. And I was just always pulled from pillar to post. Daily habits, I mean, that just never happened. There was kind of no consistency. It was all sporadic. It was all around everyone else. And I could not work out how to get this done. Anyway, slowly but surely, I started to realize that I really needed to plan. I really needed to organize. I started getting I use a book, and I will put this in the show notes, actually. I need to buy shares in this book. I use something called This Is My Era. I shall put a link in the show notes. And that gives you a daily way of writing things down. So I plan on a Sunday. And on that Sunday, when I've done all my planning, I tell everyone what I'm doing, when I'm not available, when I might need help, when I can't collect my daughter from school. All of these things enable me to start putting into place these consistent habits. So really think about, where are those holes? Where are those kind of last minute things? Where is it where kids run in and take your time, what can you put in place to be able to create these small daily habits? And it's this compound effect of helping you move forward with this that really, really creates that momentum and wins the day. And of course, do remember, and this is why I love This Is My Era, it's reviewing what you've done. And one of the things that it does at the bottom is it says wins and accomplishments for today. So that's great, because quite often you'll get to the end of the day and it's like, oh, it's been a terrible day. But actually you look back and it's like, well, I had a really good meeting with them and I did actually achieve that. And so it's great to remember that. And then it says things that I would do differently. Huge. So I had an occasion, well, for many weeks, it would be like, I would do my big task first thing in the afternoon. Ridiculous. I am all about action and activity in the morning. So by the time I got to the afternoon, it was just week after week, I wouldn't get things done. It was beginning to be embarrassing. So the fact that I was able to see, what would I change? Well, I've got to start getting that big thing done. So it's really, really useful, and keep that mindset aligned by having your gratitude and your affirmations. It's really, really great. So that's number 2, daily habits that create momentum. Number 3, building a network of accountability partners. Oh my gosh, this is so huge. And please, please, guys, be really careful who you choose. You don't want rubbish accountability partners. You don't want people who rock up and make excuses. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. You know, you want to feel inspired, you want to feel motivated. Obviously, there are times when you turn up and it's kind of like, I literally haven't got this done this week. I don't know why. I'm not sure what's holding me back. That is the kind of conversation that you want to have in your accountability. What can we put in place for you to ensure that you are able to get these things done? So choose really carefully your accountability partners. You know, they don't necessarily have to be doing the same thing as you. It can be quite different, but you've got to be turning up. It's got to be there. And how often would you do this? I personally feel that every week is really important, but you can have different levels. So I have a weekly accountability, but equally I have other sort of mastermind groups where I'm perhaps accountable fortnightly, monthly, and even quarterly. So how does it work for you? But remember, you can't wait 3 months to realize that you really are not achieving what you want to do. It's got to be really quick. So one of the things that might help is I do my planning on a Sunday, but I try and have my actual time that I restart my week is actually on a Tuesday, which is terribly useful, because on a Sunday I have had occasion, rather more than I'd like to admit, when I look at my goals for the week before and think, oh my word, I've barely touched them. And at least at that moment, I've then got just over 24 hours to go out and really have that last day of making it work and getting those things done. So that's quite a useful one. I always like to add in an extra day where I can really get a few things done that I'd perhaps, forgotten about. So yeah, really think about those accountability partners, who you're going to use and who's going to keep you motivated. It is so, so key. And other things that you can do, which always make me laugh, is physically doing things that might give you accountability. So I give the example of, imagine if you were to wake up one morning. Imagine you go to bed in your gym gear. It's embarrassing the next morning to take your gym gear off, isn't it? You just go to the gym. You got to do that. So think about, in your property world, what can you do? Who can you speak to? Who can you say, I am going to meet you then and I will have done this? Whatever it takes to get those extra levels of accountability to help us, because we're never, it's not always that you're on top form getting things done. We have highs and lows of energy. We have ebbs and flows of emotions. We may be pulled and pushed by our families or by situations or our tenants. So it's really key to have that accountability. So number 4 in the the 10 shifts to hit your property goals faster is celebrating those small wins, guys. We got to keep that motivation up. And that's another reason why I love at the end of the day. I actually do at the end of the day. Well, my big gratitude is at the end of the day. And I do 3 gratitude with my 8-year-old daughter in the morning. And that is so rewarding. You should hear what little kids are grateful for. It is just beautiful. But celebrate those wins. What did you achieve today? Even if nothing, you're alive. That's an achievement. Okay. So look at absolutely everything. You might live in a beautiful place. It might be really warm in your house. Whatever. If you're grasping at straws, there's always things to celebrate. And we tend to fob them off. We tend to just let them happen and not really listen into them. It's so, so key that we push ourselves to celebrate those things. So it might be that you go and, open a bottle of wine. It might be that you go for a stroll. It might be you take the dogs out. You might go to the park with the family. Whatever it is, keep celebrating. Make sure that those milestones help you grow. Because if we're always saying, oh, I haven't achieved this, I haven't achieved that, it's not motivating. So let's celebrate those small wins. So number 5 for those mindset shifts is visualization and affirmations. These are huge for transforming the way our mind works. Some people aren't into kind of affirmations and things like that, and that's perfectly fine, whatever works for you. But I truly believe that constantly reminding your subconscious of what is true to you in your reality is a great thing, because your subconscious mind is unable to tell the difference between reality and not reality. So really think about what is it that your life would look like when you've hit your goals, and visualize that daily and bring the emotions into it. How does it make you feel? Are you excited? Are you calm? Are you jumping up and down for joy? Are you serene? Whatever it is, think about those emotions, and it'll be in your heart, it'll be in your head, or it'll be in your stomach. Where is it? Because every time you think of that, you want to feel these emotions. And do it just before bed. So, like 5 minutes. I'm great at doing it before bed. I close my eyes, I do some final gratitude, and then I go and slip into dream while living in my imagined reality. So go there, and sometimes do the same thing, sometimes don't. One of the ones that I do is my whole family are at the airport, and we're all, just walking to go and board the plane. And I know it's my dream because no one is arguing. Everyone's getting on, everyone's smiling. And that is my dream. That is where I want to be. And then I slip into my sleep. Definitely it's great to do it in the morning. So that's definitely something that I'm working on, because I tend to wake up and I forget to do that. So again, if you can do it 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, it is a massive, massive game changer. And affirmations. So again, some people are, fans, some people aren't fans. I love doing it. One of mine is, I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows freely and easily to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. And every time, like this morning, I was on the train and I picked up my bag and there was a 5p underneath. And immediately I was like, wow, thank you. Another example of how money just flows to me. And so every time I see it, I'm affirming, again, more money has come to me, because that's always been a bit of a belief block for me. So I work really hard on that. And I wouldn't go too mad on masses and masses of affirmations, but write them down every single day. Really key. So again, actually going back to number 1, write your goal down every single day and write down your affirmation. See how that changes. It's an exciting world to be in when you live in your visualization, when you live in your imagined reality. Next up, okay, so of the 10 mindset shifts to hit your property goals faster, the next one we have is number 6, staying adaptable when challenges arise. Oh my, this is such a hard one, isn't it? But flexibility really is so key to help you with your mindset, because we are going to definitely have a lot of setbacks. There always are. The more successful you are, you basically have to deal with more problems. So that is what we've got to understand. How can we adapt even when things change? So quite often you'll have people who have a plan for their property portfolio, and suddenly it's not quite the way they wanted. So maybe they said, right, I'm going to be looking at Rightmove. And then for whatever reason, the deals keep getting snapped up. What can they do? And to look at other things feels scary. They don't want to. They don't perhaps understand. I don't know. There's so many new things. There's property filter, property engine. There's so many different places, property data, where you can get incredible deals. And that might feel uncomfortable. That is not the path I wanted to take. But be aware that the more open we are, the more likely we are to get the results that we want. To know that if you imagine a babbling brook with lots of little rocks there, the water doesn't just flow down the stream. It jumps up, it goes round, it goes, below, it bubbles. There's always changes. So we've got to understand that kind of adaptability and to be open to it. There's that funny story, isn't there, where there's a chap drowning and he says, God, save me. And a boat comes along, somebody's rowing a boat, and they says, come on, jump in. He said, no, God's going to save me. And he's shouting, God, save me. And then a speedboat comes along. He says, come on, Kevin, no, God's going to save me. And then he basically dies, drowns, goes up to heaven. And he says to God, why didn't you save me? He said, I sent you 2 boats. What more do you want me to do? So we have to be really open to these things. Adaptability. Those challenges are always going to come. Just take a deep breath. Have a mild panic if you have to. But just think, what can I do? How am I going to solve this? How am I going to get through this? Because as long as you know that you're going to find a solution, you definitely will. You'll 100% find that solution. So number 7 is leveraging mentorship to shorten your learning curve. Basically, go and find the people who have done what you want to do and spend as much time with them as you can. Copy them, do what they do what they tell you to do, and get that help. Because as much as how many books have you read where you've been like, oh my gosh, so inspired by a property book, a property strategy? You maybe have gone on YouTube, and then when you may have even done courses, and when you come to implement it into your own personal life, you suddenly come up against this brick wall. I was chatting to a mentee yesterday, and he's just looking for his goldmine area for serviced accommodation. And one of the things he was doing was he was looking everywhere. He was looking in 4 or 5 different cities. And it was kind of like, he was like, oh, but that's what I thought you would do. And I was kind of like, well, to maybe get to your goal more quickly, we need to niche and find the goldmine area, because then you can get to know that area really well. You get to know the landlords, you get to know the letting agents, you get to know the market, you get to hear if people are selling properties. All of these things help you. So it's understanding how you can implement learning into your personal life, and that can really be helped by a mentor, a coach, whatever it is. But please don't spend years and years and years struggling. Invest a little bit in yourself. Sometimes it's a lot, but really make sure that you enable yourself to achieve those goals. And I know it is really scary. When I think about what I've spent on my education, it's terrifying. But by actually pushing myself to spend that money, guess what? I went and attended every session I listened to everything that they suggested, I was going to be successful because I had invested so much, and therefore it was really, really key. So yeah, go out and find those people rather than reinventing the wheel. Just go and paint the wheel your favorite color. That's my thing. So next one is to set your smart micro goals. So it's all very well, isn't it? We've talked about your peak, your pathway, your plateau goals. Fantastic. You've got the destination, you've got the postcode, you know where you're going, but you've got to know which roads to go down. You've got to know which gear to change into. You have to understand that. And without this, it can be very, very overwhelming. And equally, we want to have that clarity, but also to be able to measure, don't we? We want to have KPIs, so key performance indicators. So, for instance, how many deals are you going to analyze a day? How many properties are you going to visit a day? How many networking events are you going to attend? So, get very specific, and this will help reduce that overwhelm. And also, does anyone procrastinate? Come on, be honest. Are you sitting there sniggering and going, no, no, not me, not me? Do you procrastinate? So this also is great. I remember when I first started mentoring, a great coach of mine said, if people come back to you and they're not achieving what they're doing, it might be that the step was just too far for them. So if you imagine like a ladder leaning up against the wall, if that first rung is at 8 foot and you just can't reach it, there's nothing you can really do. Whereas if you put in a few more extra rungs, so a few more micro goals, suddenly you only have to take a small step up. That is so much easier than literally jumping a huge, huge jump. So really think about breaking things down, looking at those goals and making them smart. So if you don't know that, that's basically specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Make those bite-sized goals. So as they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Or how do you run a marathon? One step at a time. Cut it right back so you really understand what you're doing. 9, reviewing and adjusting your strategy regularly. So this kind of covers off a few of the points that we've already raised when we're looking at adapting, when we're looking at celebrating those small wins, when we're looking at creating the habits, and we're really looking at understanding what we're doing. I like to review daily. So I mentioned I use This Is My Era. There are the show notes. I'll give you a link to it. But it really walks you through this whole review process. What did I achieve today and what would I change? And then make those changes. And these are some of the biggest ways for us to make massive, massive changes. And do cover those with your accountability partner as well. These are the things that have been working. These are the things that haven't been working. What can I do to change that? Speak to your mentor, speak to your accountability partner, ask at the networking events, what is it that other people have done to overcome the issues that you're having? And you can bet your bottom dollar that other people have had the problems that you're having, literally. So go on a Facebook group, your property Facebook group. Ask, guys, don't be shy. Everyone else has had that problem. They will, nobody will have not experienced that. So go and find out how you can overcome that by creating perhaps a new direction, a slight adjustment. And sometimes it's the tiniest of things. It's that really tiny adjustment that can make all the difference. So can you guess what the 10th of the 10 mindset shifts to hit your property goals faster? Drum roll. Take massive action every day. Every single day. even like we spoke about, even if it's a tiny micro action, take massive action. I mean, Tony Robbins, doesn't he? When he was very, very first starting out, he was utterly depressed, lying on the sofa, and he just thought, I can't keep going. And he got off the sofa and he went for a run. He took that action. So, literally, guys, you've got to every day turn up. And that's why things like planning at the weekend help you know exactly what to do. So rather than waking up and procrastinating, I'm not exactly sure what to do, where to go, have those things in place. Enable yourself to become really focused. My lovely saying that I really am passionate about is be consistently persistent and persistently consistent. Think about that. So, so key. Think about the ways you are doing things. Think about what you're thinking about, how you're feeling. What are you actually doing? And look at it. Look at those daily actions, but equally look at it through the goals. As we said, what are my KPIs? What am I got to achieve this week? How many things have I got to do? Properties have I got to see? How many people have I got to see? How much money do I need to raise? By when? So keep reviewing these things. Keep reviewing your financials. Understand these tangible results and how you are going to get there. So, guys, just as a reminder, the 10 mindset shifts to hit your property goals faster. Number 1, the importance of goals. Number 2, daily habits create momentum. Number 3, building a network of accountability partners. Number 4, celebrate those small wins. That really keeps you motivated. Number 5, using visualization and affirmations. Number 6, staying adaptable when challenges arise. They will arise. Number 7, leveraging mentorship to really shorten that learning curve. Number 8, setting smart micro goals. Number 9, reviewing and adjusting your strategy regularly. And number 10, take massive action every day, even those tiny steps. Guys, I really want you to take away something from today. So if nothing else, I want you to write down your peak goal, your big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to achieve in property, and break that down and take one small step immediately to get you closer to it. Because do remember, action builds clarity and momentum. So start now. Remember, property success isn't just about what you do. It's about how you think. When you combine a strong strategy with unstoppable mindset, there is honestly no limit to what you can achieve. So please do reflect on today's episode, take that action. And if you know of anyone who is struggling in their property journey, please do share this episode. It could be a game changer for them and their journey. And remember that the more people we help, then the greater our own wealth will grow. And that's in every sense of the word. And growing this community means growing the potential that we all have to succeed together. So just to close off, remember, your mindset is your greatest property. Keep building it.